Hi, welcome to my Empyreum here in the air and in the water. So it's a great little tool that we have here that's called Variety. He is changing all the time my personalized wallpapers from Google Drive. In Sync as an application, and Desktopper used to be a beautiful website. So we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about ArcoLinux D. And let's maximize this thing. About the installation of ArcoLinux D and then install Cinnamon. We're updating our articles. So phase 2. Well, the D stands for choose the desktop. Decide what desktop. The D is explicitly named like that because it's a very minimal thing. And during Calamares, you can either install the desktop or just skip everything inside Calamares and say later on, I just want to have a minimal ArcoLinux. I'll do my thing with it, right? For the more advanced working with scripts. And of course, the point is with these scripts, make them your own. We've made lots of time and energy to make these scripts, well, efficient and logical and so on. Reuse them. Option 3 is you install the desktop using ArcoLinux B. And option 4 is install desktop using any ArcoLinux, even ArcoLinux, and launch. Let's start with number 4 because it's the most easiest to explain. Ctrl-Alt-E is a keyboard shortcut you should remember. ArcoLinux Tweak tool. Launches. Second one, awesome. GNOME. Install. It's installed. And you'll be able to log out, and at the top right you'll find a GNOME option there. Simple as that. So this is what we call the superflex. Right? Superflex. You're super flexible. You start with something, an ISO, let's say XFCE, ArcoLinux B XFCE, and you just do Ctrl-Alt-E and decide whatever extra desktop you want to take. Now I'm going to install i3 and so on. It might be interesting to show as well that we have something called an ArcoLinux cheat sheet, right? It's a summary of all the desktops, all the important packages that are needed to have essentially this particular desktop. And there are things from ArcoLinux. That's more the, well, all the naming, you see the naming convention, right? All the orange and all the yellow. And all the rest is coming from somewhere else. It's the application, it's the environment you're going to install. But because most of these things are Arch Linux group names. You type Mate, but you get in 20, 30, 40 packages. It's a group name. All right, so the thing is, the video is how to install Cinnamon in general. So Cinnamon is option 4, possible. Option 3 is possible. You go to ArcoLinux B and you go and have a look at ArcoLinux Cinnamon. We're not going to do Cinnamon now. We're going to do Deepin. My apologies. Deepin, right? And you install, well, the thing is, I get it why you download it, guys, but the B, 320 downloads already, the B is build your own ISO. That's these 4 letters. Build your own ISO. If we can build it, you can build it, right? But you can make it better because it's gonna be your personal ISO. The deal is follow a video how to build it. It's super simple. Procedure 1, 2, run, stop. You've got an ISO with Steam on it, with GIMP on it, with Tor browser on it, anything you like. You put it inside packages x86-64, build it with script 30 or 40, and that's that. Doesn't sound difficult at all. And then you have your own personal ArcoLinux B, and now it comes ArcoLinux B, whatever you want, right? 20 desktops out there. And this is a special one, open box with 8 tiling window managers. 8. So that's an ISO to promote tiling window managers. All right, so that's another option, ArcoLinux B. And now we're going to show option 1 and option 2. Option 1 and 2 is saying, hey, let's start with ArcoLinux D, the most minimal ISO we have, and then either decide I'm going to install it with Calamares, with the help of Calamares, super simple, click, click, done, or run scripts. And the point of the scripts is that you should not keep them, but that you should change them the way you see fit. Let's do a clone. So we start with ArcoLinux D, and we're going to make a Deepin. Now, if you go for Deepin, stick to Deepin. Don't start mixing. Sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not okay. Looking back over 4 years, it's always Deepin. That's the problem, where when you start mixing with ArcoLinux tweak tool and all that, that we gotta get into trouble because of Deepin, right? So the point is, the message is, want to explore Deepin, fine, explore Deepin, but just keep using that one and you won't run in any issues or frustrations. And neither will we, because you'll ask questions, right? And then we go again, oh, there's Deepin again. All right, so ArcoLinux D, the most minimal one, but we did need to have something, right? So it's a small XFCE version with a panel, with a live user, with some applications, with a wallpaper, and then we are greeted with our welcome app. We need something to, so it can be eye candy, right? And then we're greeted, 3 big buttons. Either you decide, hey, this ArcoLinux mirrors are better updated or not. You decide if you want to clean up your act, so to speak, if you want to clean up your hard disk. Oh yeah, 3 partitions, let's get rid of them inside gparted. Or you can exactly do the same thing and say, come on Calamares, delete me everything. Now in this particular version of Calamares, I've installed 48 times without using gparted, so no issues. Choose your language. Esperanto, why not? Español de España. And then you go ahead and then you select more things. Every screen is a choice. Do I want the latest kernel immediately if I boot up? So when you make an ISO, it's a particular kernel at that particular moment in time. We are now, this is 5.9.1, that's it. And the current one is 5.9.8. 7 kernels. Since 3 weeks ago or something like that, 4 weeks ago maybe. So that's more or less the amount. 8 kernels per month, 2 kernels per week. That's normal. That's ArcoLinux. So you decide whether you want to have extra things, but the extra things will always cost you download, so bandwidth, download time, and installation time. So be patient. If you select a lot of things, just be patient. That's the only thing we ask. Now, Deepin, I have to make a decision, right? Am I going for option 1 or am I going for option 2? I am going for option 1. And I'll explain later on when we are in TTY. Just this thing, that's the difference, right? Running scripts, and anybody can run scripts. I'll show you. So I'm gonna go for option 1, which means decide something in here, one of the 4, but as you know, LightYM is the official one, is the supported one, is the themed and tweaked one. It's an ArcoLinux LightYM greeter. It's no longer LightYM GTK greeter from ArcoLinux. Next, we go for Deepin. You know it, the drill. It might work together with something else, but it might not. So our general advice is keep Deepin separate. And then you install more and more and more if you want to, or install it later. But it's entirely up to you. It just will take more time to download and install. Remember that, so patience. Going over all the things, I just made some videos about encrypting, so I'm not going to do that anymore because it takes 15 seconds to decrypt, and this one I haven't done yet in any of the videos. So it's all possibilities, and why not do manual partition at some point in time? You just choose freedom of choice. That's what Linux is all about. And then we go for next, and we wait for this thing to do its job. And then we are going to go over some of the scripts, because it's option 2. Well, we are going to follow option 1, right? So if you did not select anything inside Calamares, well, then you would have selected option 2, simple as that. Option 2, installing the desktop with scripts. So in case you do option 2, we can use the time because, well, the thing is installing, right? Option 2 is going to a certain GitHub, ArcoLinux D, ArcoCinnamon, and it's here, github.com, ArcoLinux D. So the D stands for decide the desktop. It's the most minimal one out there, and you decide during Calamares to click something or not to click something, and Deepin is here. So if you decide to say, okay, this sounds good, we get already a lot of scripts in, but I'm gonna make it my scripts, right? And you make an account on GitHub and you put them online, and you can do exactly the same thing. Git clone and then a URL, your special account GitHub of some desktop. So what's in here is easily changed. If you say, look at that, he's installing variety, I don't want that. Well, done, delete, right? And it's gone, will not be installed. Maybe you say, I would like to have code or Visual Studio Code for editor. Then you add a line more to it. And so on. It's a list. It goes through, and we've just made a little bit categories like graphics together, GIMP, Inkscape, Nomax together, Internet. Why not a Tor browser? Why not Brave? It is entirely up to you. Decide what you put on your computer system. We provide already a template, a skeleton. Change it any way you see fit. Reuse it. That's our message. Let's see how long I should talk. Almost done. So here we decide to the system what we need. What we selected in Calamares is what we'll do here. This is get me. All of this has to do with LightYAM, having a beautiful LightYAM, having wallpapers. All of this has to do with Deepin. And maybe it's a good thing to just show you guys where do we get all this knowledge from. Just start remembering to type ArchWiki and then something. ArchWiki, something. That's the Deepin desktop environment. And it says here, to get a minimal desktop, install Deepin group, right? So translation, sudo pacman -s Deepin. The Deepin extra group contains some extra applications for a more complete desktop environment. Translation, sudo pacman -s Deepin extra. What happens here? We install Deepin and Deepin extra. Know thy Lego blocks. That's it. Know what Lego blocks to install. And all the rest is up to you to decide if you want it or not. Now I think the time is come. Yeah, the time has come. Just saying that 500 and 600 is basically the added value, the soul, the heart of ArcoLinux, the look, the feel of ArcoLinux, right? That's number 600. The scripts will give you the ArcoLinux look and feel. All right, time to get into Deepin. And I know that people, some of us, and I think I count myself among them, the previous Deepin was nicer than the new Deepin, right? So things change as usual. Nothing stays the same in the world. Everything is evolving and we have to live with it. So Deepin has changed, has got an update, and you either like it or don't like it. So we're going to option 1, mirror, update, and so on. Moving you out of the way. So ArcoLinux D, This is ArcoLinux D. Again, ISO ArcoLinux D. We're rolling. There's no version anymore, so nobody can tell us, hey, I'm not up to date because I have this version. No, this just means the ISO you used. That's all it means. You started with that thing, and then you can keep on rolling, which means updating, scaling up all. Right, mirror and mirror list. Let's have a look. I have mail tunnel. Okay, 2020, 11/17 at 3 o'clock. I checked. So I guess that's gonna be good, right? It's just a few minutes ago that it's checked. So I keep off. I'm not gonna type mirror, but I can. I can type mirrors. I can type mirror A, mirror D, all aliases to get the fastest server. And why is that important? Because I'm gonna update. When I press update, ArcoLinux is going to update, ArcoLinux is going to be updated, and of course, if I'm living in Belgium, it's a server coming from Taiwan, I'll have a long wait till everything is downloaded from Taiwan. But if I can have a server that's nearby, well, I'll install it quickly. That's the point why this mirrors matter. The servers matter. Almost there, 100%. And then the checks, right? Keep your fingers crossed, checking keys, checking packages, checking conflicts, and off we go. Why am I joking about checking these things? Some of us are really distro hopping in the sense that, oh yeah, 6 months ago I've installed ArcoLinux, let's update it, right? And I've made lots of videos about updating on YouTube. Maybe we should take a look, Eric. Maybe we should take a look. Lots and lots of knowledge is, let's see if it finds it. YouTube tutorials, no. YouTube ArcoLinux, then playlist, and then update. Let's see if it finds it. Voila, ArcoLinux update. How many videos? Quite a few. Because updating matters. Keeping your system up to date matters. iPhone, Samsung, Android, I mean iOS, Mac, we all update it all the time, right? And knowing what to do is important. And we have here somewhere, probably if I can find it somewhere, videos here 6 months old, right? So an SSD I have never touched the last 6 months and updated. It's important to have that knowledge to well, to be able to just have a working system. Simple as that. It only requires knowledge. And why am I saying that? Because I saw keys in there. One of the things people get stuck with is ArcoLinux. Sorry, not ArcoLinux of course, but ArcoLinux. There is something called ArcoLinux keyring. If you jump in time like that, like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, it depends when the ArcoLinux keyring was updated, right? Then you do this one first. First get the 2020, 10 October, 28th of October, first version. Get that in first, and that's all these keys, and then update your system. Update is a nice typo, and it's gonna work as well. No frustrations. All right, a tip, I always add more than the title of YouTube says, always. Because, well, knowledge flows and there you have it. So ArcoLinux keyring, remember that's an important one. Now, the next thing I'll do is system, CTL, what did I decide to install? SEDM? No. GDM? No. LXDM? Not either. It was light DM, right? So just activate this thing. Forgot my sudo, so there it is. That's why the red line. Never mind. Just if you see the line, created symlink and so on, that's cool. Then you're good to go. You can sudo reboot. But before we do, before we do, we're installing Deepin, right? There is something here, scale. Decide whether you use our scale command or not. You can enjoy a version ArcoLinux look if you want. You can follow the article, and this is what we bring to the table, right? This is the standard XFCE with changes to this. You can change it again to something else. That's the fun, right? They call it rising your operating system. You can call it tweaking. It's all good for me. But we need to reboot. Let's not do a scale, since Deepin is Deepin. We added our light the display manager. It's going to be there if we boot up from line 3 from the SSD. And it says failed load kernel modules. Never mind. Effect mode, Deepin is there. And that's the look of Deepin. Out of the box, we have our tweet here. So I see, we call it the tweet, and it's a little fun in the core members team. And this is what we get. A lot of things we can change, settings we can have a look at. And this is your original Deepin. If you want to have our settings, then you need to do a Ctrl-Alt-T and a scale. And scale is an alias. It's going to copy paste everything that's inside etc scale. So ls, yeah, cool, ls minus al etc scale. Anything in there is going to be copy pasted now to Deepin, and it's going to get in effect if I reboot. Then these things will be loaded again. And we have a different kind of, well, an ArcoLinux Deepin, the way we think it should be. And there's like Ctrl-T, there's F12 and so on. Lots of things that we can, we're used to, right? Ctrl-Alt-F is working. When is it working? Well, when I install Firefox, right? If we click here, Firefox, oh, forgot to install it. This is ArcoLinux D. It's the most minimal one. So, hey, you'll have to get a lot of packages in to be able to do a Ctrl-Alt-F. And then again, suddenly the keyboard works, right? The keyboard shortcut works. That's it for me, guys, or not? Yeah, true. What I can explain as well, if you would go to option 2, the only thing different is you download scripts. We went over the scripts here. These are the scripts. The only thing you need to remember, and let's go like officially, right? Right Control F4. Let's go to TTY because we are in a black screen then. And the only thing you have to do is git clone https://github.com/ArcoLinuxD. That's the ISO. Remember, that's what we started with. Arco Deepin. Enter. cd Arco Deepin ls, and start running them 100 till 800, and then sudo reboot. And adapt these scripts, change these scripts any way you see fit, and put them back on GitHub and have your own setup for yourself. If you want to reuse Deepin at some point in time, say I want this, that, and that, and keep it as a template for moving to Mate after having used Deepin. Say, I want to have my Tor browser, I want to have Brave in there, and so on. All right, have fun using ArcoLinux, and cheers.